Wednesday. Wow, I am so excited. I've got a special guest. She's going to share her wealth of wellness and wisdom. She is a health expert and a certified holistic living wellness expert. My guest today is... Ready? I want to keep you in suspense, but thank you for joining the Good News radio station. This is the AskZena radio show on Wednesday, and my special guest is Lynnis Woods-Mullins, and she is, oh my gosh, I just have all of this information that I want to share, but she is a wellness expert for women over 40 and certified, bona fide, magnified, praisified, all of these things. She is an educator and helping women live and feel better. She's helping with anxiety disorders, which I needed you on Monday and last week, right? But we, women over 40, we go through some different things with our health, and we have to take special attention to some of the changes that are going on. And I'm not just talking about menopause, y'all, so forget about that. I'm just saying that we go through changes with our body and with our thought process and the chemicals and all of the different things going on in our life. So this is really, really important. I wanted to bring Lynnis out there today and just talk about, it's summer and we've got a lot of things going on. We don't have to be bathing suit worthy or ready in the summertime. We need to be ready all the time. We need to get our health and wholeness and all of that stuff down pat. And so, Lynnis, come on out, jump on out, tell us a little bit about what you've got going on, and we will go and dive into this.
Well, Zena, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me on your wonderful show. We finally did it. We got together. I'm so happy about that. Thank you so much. And, I am passionate about talking with women about women. And why? Because I happen to be a female, and at the age of 51, about 10 years ago, I went through a epiphany in my life and found out that I was diagnosed with a anxiety disorder. And that was a real wake-up call for me, because what they told me I needed to do was to take some time off, and I did that. And they also told me that I needed to start taking this medication to help me deal with my anxiety. So I did do that. And then there was one day, when I was still off from work, where I didn't take that medication. I forgot, or I ran out, one of the two. And I was feeling this weird feeling. I couldn't put my finger on it. And then I began to get even more anxious, because I realized that I was either out of the medication, I couldn't find it, I don't know which one it was. And that's when a light went off my head. It was like, okay, wait a minute. Am I dependent on this stuff? Wow. Oh, no. There's got to be something else that I can do besides popping the pharmaceutical to deal with my anxiety. And that's when my quest began, to find out more about our mind, our body, and our spirit. This was back in about 2008, 2009, where the mind-body spirit wellness movement really began to explode on the internet. I didn't know anything about the movement. I happened to have been a nutrition minor in college, and I didn't live a certain way in terms of the way I ate and my fitness, because I was a dancer for years. But I didn't understand that whole connection between the mind, body, and spirit. And it was at that time that I decided that I was going to learn about it and figure out how I can get past the feeling of anxiety and sometimes overwhelm without popping pharmaceuticals. And as I began to learn more, I discovered that I really didn't want to go back to that high-paying corporate job, which was part of the causation of my anxiety, and that I really want to find a way to monetize these key learnings that I had learned around holistic living. And it was at that time that Frameworks Health and Wellness was born, a virtual business to educate women about being well in the mind, body, and spirit after 40. It's been quite a journey, and here I am 10 years later. When I started out, I didn't know that much about wellness. I went back to school and got a certificate in holistic health and nutrition and yoga and Pilates and all these different things that I did. Didn't know anything about social media. In fact, when I found out about Facebook in 2008, I thought I had discovered something. And my kids, who were all like young teenagers at the time, they're like, no, they've been there enough. I was like, my God, they were on something. I didn't even know what it was, you know.
Wow.
But now, fast forward 10 years later, I have over 200,000 followers on the internet. I produce big podcasts. I have a virtual magazine, a fantastic Facebook group, doing very well. And that's what I think the ultimate learning is, that it's never too late to learn something new. It's never too late to make a change in your life, especially when that change is going to serve you well.
Sure.
So for you women over 40, over 50, over 60, over 70, thinking that it's too late to make a change, I'm here to tell you, I am living proof it's not too late to make that change.
Absolutely. So we have so much to talk about. I want to first dive into the mind, body, spirit. So many people, you talked about the pharmaceuticals, and in my family, it seems like once women hit like 50, mid 40s, just all of these different ailments start to occur. And I remember someone saying in my family, oh, well, yeah, you'll probably have that because such and such had that, or that runs in my family, or that, oh, yeah, that we had that. Oh, well, that you're going to get this, right? And I'm talking about all of these different illnesses and symptoms and all of these different things and body shape and so forth. And I've always been the black sheep in my family. I was like, no, I don't have to live your pathology. I don't have to live your vision, your whatever you're claiming for your life. So when I turned 50, I just really decided to change my lifestyle and change my eating habits and meditate more and spend more time out in the environment in nature. But I want to talk about that mind body. For me, it was all the women in my family. They just they predestined themselves to have these ailments, and so they manifested, right? And so let's talk a little bit about the mind body, because I don't think that people really realize. They think they have to eat right and exercise and drink plenty of water, and then that's it.
You're absolutely right. The reality is that the mind, body, spirit, they're all interconnected. And if anything is off in that continuum, then you're not really approaching wellness. So you have to pay attention to what's going on in your mind, the thoughts that you're thinking. You have to pay attention, of course, to your body, what you're putting in your body, how you're moving your body, and you got to pay attention to your spirit. What is your connection to that supreme power, whatever you call it, that's stronger than you? How do you connect with nature and with your overall environment? All those things are so important. You're right, it's not just what you put inside. And I can tell you that our thoughts are powerful.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right. We can create many things that go on with our bodies. That's why one of the first things I learned was it was important for me to have a prayer room. It's kind of a funny story how it all came about. I have 4 daughters, and 3 of them were away at college. When I left corporate America, I had 3 kids at school. College was crazy, I know. But
wow.
I was being obedient. I decided that's what I was going to do. So one of them had a room that was a little bit more on the side of the house, and it had a wall that was painted purple because that was her favorite color. And I decided that I would choose that room to create a prayer room. And this is before I really got into my business. At this point, I was just really trying to be obedient to that voice in my head. Some people call it the Holy Spirit, your subconscious, your intuition, something that we all have, but many times we ignore it. But this began my journey into really listening to that voice, the Holy Spirit, that was leading me and guiding me and directing me to something that was going to serve me well. And so in this prayer room, I placed things that resonated with my spirit, that gave me that feeling of release, of relaxation. I wanted it to be that when I walked into that room, I left my anxiety, my stressors, whatever it was, I left that behind. And in place of that, I can begin to edify my spirit by the things that were in the room. A plant, pictures, affirmations, scripture, favorite books, a chair I like to sit in, music that I like to listen to. And 10 years later, this room has really grown into a place that when my friends come over, they love to go into the prayer room. They already know that if their spirit's not right, we're not going into the prayer room until we eradicate that spirit. Because that is kind of interesting. If a person's spirit isn't right, and I'm sitting in the prayer room, and they're standing outside in the hallway, I don't say anything. But they'll lean in to talk to me rather than to come into the prayer room. That's how powerful this room is. And the only reason why it is this way, it's not because it's me. It's because of all the prayers that have gone up in this room. Sure. All of the working on staying positive and staying affirmed in terms of who God says I am.
Yes.
Not who Peter, Paul, and Mary say that I am, or sometimes the negative things that I say, but who God says I am. Well, show me the things that are on my wall. On my wall, I have affirmations, scriptures. I have my goals and objectives. I have the list of things in terms of what my company, Praise for Health and Wellness, is supposed to be about, what my brand, Wellness Women 40 and Beyond, is supposed to be about, and the things and products that God has blessed me with to create. Names of those things are on there. How much money I want to make this year is on my walls. Reminders that God has given me. Like, for instance, I have something here that says, know your value. Sure. Embrace your awesomeness. And master your mindset. Beat the odds. Those are the kinds of things that are on my wall that I have to continually say to myself, because if I don't do that, Zena, then I get into that negative Nelly spirit and start believing that instead, and then that just puts the brakes on in terms of my development and the journey that I'm on, in terms of my being able to earn a living doing what I do. And I came to learn that it was imperative, as women especially, and men too, but especially as women, because we are the nurturers, and many times we are the ones that hold that flame of hope and love in our hands for our families and for our loved ones, that because of that, we need to have a space like this, whether it's a corner of a room somewhere, or in your prayer closet, or like the war room in that movie, The War Room, whatever it is, we need to have that space where we can go that uplifts us, that edifies our spirit, that affirms who we are as women, and that gives us that positive energy, that raises that vibration of who we are, so that when we walk out into the world, we're in our bubble. Yeah. You know, and we just don't let anything mile our bubble. Big bubble, not one that you can pick with a pen, you know.
Well, I think
that self-love bubble.
I think intention too, right? You have to have the intention. I mean, I think if you start with the intention, then you can start with the manifestation of the physical, which is having that room or having that environment. But I kind of want to step back because some of our listeners are in their 20s and some of them are in their 30s. Forgive the noise in the background. Part of the challenge that we're having today is I have to have Lynnis on my cell phone geared up to a mic. For some reason, we weren't hearing one another, so you're going to hear some background noise, and my apologies. Anyway, we have listeners that are 20 and listeners that are 30 and 40 and in their 50s and so on. When we are in our 20s, we are thinking we are it and that we can do everything, right? And we're untouchable, and we're just out there living life. And, I think that if people in certain age groups, if could just grab onto an intention, right? And then they could build on their practice of wellness, because wellness is a practice. It's just not popping a vitamin, walking for 20 minutes, drinking water. It's more than that. So I'm going to let you get into that. But I was thinking about intention when you were talking, and you have to have the intention to be perfect, whole, and complete. Whatever perfect, whole, and complete looks like for you. I mean, we're designed to rejuvenate, re-energize, repair our own bodies. And so when I think about intention, and I think about when I got in my 30s, then I started to focus a little bit like, okay, I've had some life experiences. I need to start doing some things better. Then I'm getting to the 40. Then when I got to 40, it was like, oh, that's a big number. Whoa. What? So all right, maybe I'll take some salt out of my diet. Maybe I won't drink as many Pepsis, right? I think I need to start making changes. And then we go through this thing where we want to make radical changes because we think that we're getting so old. And then for me, who turned 50, and it was like easy breezy, like I'm just going to do this and create this lifestyle for myself. I want to talk about that because we go through different cycles in our life, and you're talking about just being well, starting with the mind, starting with the spirit, and working through the body. That if you can connect with the mind and the spirit, then the body will follow, right?
Yeah, I believe that in order to really approach a life of wellness, you definitely want to set intention. And you want to do little things a bit at a time. Because sometimes if we bite off too much, like you kind of alluded to earlier, then we're setting ourselves up for failure. Maybe your first step in terms of just getting in more connection with you is setting an intention that one way to begin to live more of a life of wellness is that I'm going to make sure that when I first wake up in the morning, I am just going to say, thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. Being grateful. And then I'm going to drink some lemon water, because the lemon water, which may be a little bit of lime in it, because the lemon water is going to get my digestive metabolism processes going. They have some lime in it. It's going to wake up my brain, and it's going to gently detoxify my liver and really just get me going and hydrate me, which is so important because our brains are made of 90% water. And most of the time, as we age, when we wake up in the morning, we're dehydrated. So we need to have that water anyway. So why not make that a practice when you first wake up in the morning, before you even put your feet down on the ground? You're thanking God and being grateful for waking up. And you're showing that gratefulness by having some water in your bedside that you're drinking that is basically fortified you. That's a small thing, but
Sure.
you're getting that step of putting wellness on your mind. And as you begin to make those incremental changes in your life, whatever those small changes are, and we can talk about other small changes, you begin to start being more aware of other things that you can do and other things that you can let go of. One of the reasons why diet, for instance, may not have lasting impact, because first of all, we talk about losing weight. I don't believe in losing weight. I believe in releasing weight. If you're trying to lose something, you generally do find it again. If you're releasing it, it's gone forever. It doesn't come back. But another reason why the diets don't always work is because there's no lifestyle change. You're changing your diet maybe and what you're eating, but you're not changing the other parts of the lifestyle, the mind and spirit part that might be feeding into the reason why you feel the need to overeat or to eat unhealthy or to eat things that you know aren't good for you. That's why when you're approaching wellness, you want to try to look at incremental changes that you can do in your lifestyle overall that can bring you along your journey to wellness much more successfully, and then you don't feel like a failure, which you should never feel when you make a mistake and backslide or whatever. It's an incremental goal.
Absolutely. I also want to touch upon anxiety because, and again, I'm sticking with the mind first before we go into a lot of your tools and some of the things that you have to offer, all of your nuggets that you're going to leave us with today. But, when we hold on to things from the past, I was watching a study about overweight women, and very, very close to my heart in terms of this story. So they were saying that most overweight women have had some sort of violation occur in their life, maybe physical, mental, spiritual, maybe even some sort of abuse in their childhood. And so they mask that with others. So they're feeding this emptiness, this scar, with so many different other things. And some of it's food and alcohol, or maybe it's just numbing out and not exercising or not being active in life. And they were talking about it because they were saying about the success of what is that show? 600 Pounds and Over or something like that. And how some of those people go through their gastric bypass service, their surgery, and they then end up gaining the weight right back so quickly because they're not healing the mental. They're not healing that broken spirit. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that happens at all ages. I mean, I've seen women who are, 19. I've seen little girls I was a chunky little girl at 12, and we're holding this back, which it doesn't matter which diet or exercise or wellness plan you choose. If you have something that's inside of you that you're not dealing with, that's going to sabotage all of your efforts. So and then that anxiety and the cortisone and all of that stuff. So,
you're absolutely right. They all are an integral part of getting to the causation. One of the problems that we have with our traditional Western medicine is that we have a tendency to treat the symptoms and not the causation. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to obesity, the treating of the symptom is the idea of putting the person on a diet, or now even having surgeries where they take the fat out and they slip a sleeve in, or there's several different surgeries, gastric bypass and things like that can cause a plethora of complications later on. They don't have anything to do with what you might think they do, because the causation of why you got like that in the first place is never even approached. Now, I do know that when it comes to some of these surgeries, they now, just within the last few years, have required the people to go to counseling and all sorts of kind of stuff, and that's good, but they still don't go into the spiritual piece of why we are having this self-hatred. And there are going to be some people who will disagree with me, but I'm telling you that if you are 24, 25 years old, and you are wearing a size 26, you're not just big-boned. Something's wrong.
Sure.
And this whole idea of this, we're big-boned, or I'm already genetically predisposed to be big. The studies aren't really ferreting that out. They're not supporting that. Just because you come from a family where weight has been a problem doesn't mean that you have to adjust that. So I think the first thing is that we need to be open-minded and change our mindsets in terms of what's really going on with us, besides the idea that we're just big-boned or that we're genetically predisposition to be that way. The other thing is to get into some kind of counseling, to really peel back the lens of what's going on with you. And I believe that people should go to counseling just like you go to your holistic doctor or your general practitioner, gynecologist, dentist, hairdresser, nail person, okay? All those other places that we go, there is nothing wrong. And there seems to be a stigma sometimes, especially in communities of people of color, about the idea of going to a therapist. But a therapist gives you a tune-up in your mind, just like you need a tune-up for all the other parts of this that's going on in your car or in your life. There should be no stigma attached to that, because we need to be able to get these things out, to be able to talk about them, to expose them, to shed the light on, because otherwise it's kind of like this. I'm sure you've heard about the idea of someone gets a cut or a sore, and they don't necessarily see it real well, but they put a Band-Aid over it, okay? And then a few days later, the Band-Aid kind of falls off, and it looks a little greenish, maybe a little pussy and sore or whatever, but they still don't really treat it to try to get that pus out because it's going to hurt. So instead, they put another Band-Aid over it, maybe a pretty little Band-Aid that goes, oh, that's a cute Band-Aid. Okay, well, next thing you know, the leg is really sore. It's no longer about that scratch. The leg is getting sore. Going to the doctor now, finally, to find out what's wrong, and that's when they start telling you about, well, we may have to do surgery, we may have to amputate, you have to take all these. Well, that's the same kind of thing with your emotional wellness. You have a small scar, something that hurts. You never really treat it or address it. You just let it stay and fester and fester inside. And by the time you rip off the Band-Aid to try to address what's wrong, it's a huge infection. And that's why it's so important for us to dig deep and to go ahead and do the work. And many therapists will tell you that a lot of people just don't want to do the work. They'd rather put on the Band-Aid and cover it up because they don't want it to hurt, not realizing something that the hurt is so much worse if you leave it uncared for. And I would venture to say that one of the reasons why we have so much obesity now, 7 out of 10 women are obese, is because of the fact that we have so many walking wounded.
Yes.
So many people aren't willing to do the work. And I have to tell you that while it's work, it's a lot less painful to do the work on the front end than to end up on the back end, like I was with my anxiety disorder. The work that I needed to do presented itself through anxiety. Many times, anxiety comes from things that we're just not dealing with. Yes, the stresses of the day and all that happen, but for me, many times anxiety is an offshoot of post-traumatic stress. A lot of people don't realize that. That's one of the first symptoms. And then you couple that with, as we age, menopause, which raises the level of stress in our lives, which raises the level of cortisol. And the reason why the stress seems higher or feels higher as we age is because we have so much on us. By 50, by 55, we have all of our lives past atrocities and trauma that is there that we haven't dealt with. And then we're going to menopause. And the cortisol levels sicken us already. And then we're already emotionally eating because of the other stuff that we haven't dealt with, the post-traumatic stress that we haven't dealt with. And our bodies are beginning to get imbalanced chemically because of just the nature of things as we age in menopause. And now you're in the full throes of anxiety. And you're wondering why you're gaining all this weight because you stopped the eating, you're dieting, exercising, and you still are sickening. And one of the reasons is because you haven't been able to figure out about the need to change your lifestyle to a more holistic lifestyle, where you're doing meditation, where you're spending quiet time, where you're living, invoking the importance of your own self-care by taking that much-needed break when necessary, by getting out in nature, walking in the sun, getting that vitamin D, which is so important that you really cannot get from any other source than the sun, by disconnecting from electronics for a while, turning off everything in your house before you go to bed so that you can have a deep sleep. I saw on your wall today about this wonderful posting about the need for sleep.
Yes.
And the fact that many of us who are obese, women over 40, over 50, we're sleep deprived. We pride ourselves on the idea that, I can do this with 6 hours of sleep.
4 hours of sleep.
Or 4 hours of sleep. And maybe you can. But the reality is the quality of what you're doing isn't there. And
exactly.
over time, it impacts you by chronic disease, obesity. There's been a direct correlation between sleeplessness and heart disease, which is the number one killer.
And dementia that they're saying now.
Of dementia, so much of the things that seem to be on the rise are directly tied to our lifestyles and things that we are doing that we think are important in our lives. When you get right down to those things versus your health, they really aren't. But many of it, a lot of it starts with that initial feeling of dis-ease. Yes. That we're not addressing.
Dis-ease.
Right, dis-ease turns into dizzy. That thing that's nagging at you, that hurt, that trauma that you never really dealt with. Oh, it's no big deal. I'm forgiving them, whatever. And it's not to say that forgiveness isn't key, because forgiveness is extremely key. But sometimes we need some help.
Absolutely. I want to share with you first. You're preaching to the choir. I'm like, yes, my hands are up. like all of this, it just resonates with me. So I did a workshop in Arizona, and I'm going to talk about the Band-Aids because my family Band-Aids everything. That's the way that I grew up. It was like sweep it under the rug or put a Band-Aid on it, and children should be seen and not heard. And even though whatever was going on in the lives of children, it was pretty traumatic. So I did a women's workshop, and we asked for a volunteer to sit at the front of the room at this hotel. And each woman we all had several big Band-Aids where we wrote things that were troubling us, that we wanted to get rid of, or that we were, putting bandages on, that we were masking, that we were covering up. And so we had this volunteer in the front, and we all, put the Band-Aid on this person and opened it up and put it on their arms and their toes and their fingers. And it was so cathartic. The woman just stood back and looked at all the things that we were masking, that we were pretending, that we were faking, that we were lying to ourselves about. And there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Well, here's the thing, that as we started to, and the person who volunteered knew that they would be in some sort of pain, but they also, ironically, a lot of the things that we wrote, see, this person didn't even know what the words were. And as we took the bandages off, she had this amazing healing and that came over her, because it was like, I've been doing that too. And so the pain of ripping off the Band-Aid was very cathartic for her, because it was like, I want to free myself from this. I want to get rid of this. So that was the thing about the Band-Aid. And we do that all the time. We cover up things. We wear makeup. We wear clothing. We do so many different things. And we just... we're not living our lives. And so here we're talking about wellness. And I wanted to thank you so very much for joining the AskZena radio show on the Good News radio station. We're talking about wellness. We're talking about wellness after 40, or women over 40. But we're talking about wellness, mind, body, and spirit. We have a wellness expert and a holistic living expert and a praise dancer, professional praise dancer, certified life coach, on and on and on, sharing with us today just how to live a better life. And you guys know that I'm always talking about living an abundant life. And I always clarify that, because I don't want anyone to think that abundance is about money. Abundance is about a lifestyle. It's about you tapping into that inner joy within yourself. We talked about happiness is fleeting. Happiness is a life experience. It's not something, you don't have those sort of happy moments every single day. Maybe you do, good for you. But I'm talking about tapping into joy even when things are coming up against you. That is wellness. That is wholeness. That is your spirit is good inside of you. And so we're talking all about wellness today. But I wanted to talk about sleep, because we touched upon that. I cover the blue lights in my house. A lot of people are like, what do you do that? Why are you putting a towel over the TV? And why do you have a towel over the cable box? I cover the blue lights in my house, in my bedroom, and I spray a little lavender on my pillow or my eye pillow. And I used to have to take melatonin to go to sleep, to quiet my mind. I used to even have to I used to take Benadryl, a Benadryl, just to be able to shut my mind. But then I'd wake up and I would be groggy. And so then I went to the melatonin, and then I had to up the melatonin. And it was like, whoa. See, I'm a person that I don't like to be addicted to any substance, anything. I don't want to have to crave a substance. That's a real issue for me. So when I was having to upload, go higher levels with a melatonin or take two, it was like, oh, no. So I changed the temperature in my room. I covered the blue lights. I put an eye pillow on. I do a quick meditation before I go to bed, and I change my pillows. Hell, do you know how many people keep the same pillows and never change their pillows? Like, you've got to change it. If you flip the mattress, I mean, we're talking all of these things. So we talked about praise, and we talked about spirit, and we talked about God, right? And I just wanted to touch upon this one thing, and I know that you're going to share some wisdom and enlighten us some more, but we have everything we need to change and transform our lives. We just have to apply it. We have to do the work, right? Whatever that work is. And so, don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for, oh, I just can't sleep. Because you saying I just can't sleep, you'll be 40, 50 years old saying, I've always had sleeping problems. I need a little drink of whiskey before I go to bed. I need a little this. Don't. You are perfect, whole, and complete.
You're absolutely right. And in terms of sleeplessness, there are several things that you can do to enhance your sleep. One of the things that really helps is if you do some kind of movement every day. And some people will say exercise. All the same movements for those people who shut down as soon as you say exercise. But you have to have movements, 30 minutes a day, whatever it is. And I can give you tips on the kinds of movement that would suffice. If you're at the grocery store and you're doing your shopping, instead of running right to the place where you need to go and pick up your items, allot yourself enough time to walk the outer perimeter of the store, to go up and down the aisles of the store, and walk the perimeter of the store again. You'd be surprised how many steps you'll get. That's at least 3,000 to 4,000 steps, maybe more. And you want to try to do at least 10,000 steps a day. When you park in the parking lot, park at the furthest parking slot, and then walk into the store that way. That's how you add another 800 to 1,000, just depending on how large. Most grocery store parking lots are very large. Instead of spending that time going around and around looking for the closest, go right away to the furthest. That's going to save you some time. So you can have more time to walk and then to do your walk to the grocery store. That's just a very small thing. You can probably think of other things you can do to enhance your movement. When you're moving that way, you're getting more oxygen, the blood is flowing more to your extremities, and your system is being fed so that at night, when you are ready to shut down, they're ready to shut down also because they've been fed. They're not still looking for the foods to come in the source of fresh blood and the source of oxygen at night, because it's not going to come while you're sleeping. It's only going to come while you're being active. The reason why you can't shut down if you haven't been working out during the day or moving is that your body's still looking for fresh oxygen.
Sure.
And you're rather, and you can't shut down. And it's important that you shut down so the body can repair itself so that metabolism can kick in. Believe it or not, you can lose weight by sleeping. You'd be surprised how many extra pounds you can drop by having a full, deep sleep. Studies have shown that our deepest sleep is between the hours of 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. So if you are, or 2 a.m., so if you're going to bed at 12 o'clock, more than likely you're not going to shut down all the way that you need to. So it takes a little while to get to that. So it's just between 11 and 2, you definitely want to be in bed by 10 in order to get the body to begin to shut down. And you want to stay asleep at least until 2 or 3. And one of the reasons why we are such a sleep-deprived nation is because we are a 24/7 nation. We have people who are working during those hours of shutdown. But there are ways to help the body shut down. Even if you are a person who works non-traditional hours, you have to make sure you get very thick lining in your curtains so to shut out the light. You want to, as she said, put all of the covers over blue light sources. But you can also listen to subliminal messaging in either music or ocean waves, raindrops or whatever, and behind the messaging are winning scripts that help you to relax, because the subconscious is very powerful. And if you can't shut yourself down consciously, the subconscious can help you to shut down. Another thing in terms of sleep deprivation, there are certain yoga moves that you can do before you go to sleep that can help you calm the body down, put you in a more relaxed state. There are certain kinds of music that you can listen to that can help to calm you. One of the things you probably don't want to do before you get ready to go to bed is watch television, do anything that is going to keep your body from shutting down a little bit. You want to get off the computer, get off the phone, stop watching television, and begin to set the mood for a good night's sleep. And I know that might seem like a lot, but it's not. It's just, again, an incremental lifestyle change that's going to make big results over time.
Sure.
If you take the time and make the commitment to make those incremental changes.
What do you say to those people that have to sleep with the television on?
Wow, my husband's one of those. He just has to sleep. He'll get upset with me because my light might be on when I fall asleep. But turn off the light, but keep the television on. it makes no sense to me because the television has light and sound and everything else. And also, if you're one of those people that just have to keep the television on for whatever reason, I think for me that means that something else is going on subconsciously, and you need to go to a therapist to figure out what that is, because something's going on that you don't want to shut all the way down. You don't want to hear what it is that you need to hear to get ultimately well from a spiritual perspective. And my husband and I disagree on this, and so I was kind of giving it to God, let him point it out to him. But I really do believe that that's what's going on. Something going on from childhood, college, something's going on that's keeping that person from wanting to be in silence. I love silence, but many people in our American culture do not. They're uncomfortable with silence. When you're able to sit and be silent, there's so many things that come forth. Things that you need to hear, sometimes pleasant, sometimes not. But it's one way to begin to peel back those layers of stuff that you need to work on so that you can be free to turn off everything, that you can go to sleep, so that you can get rid of those anxious feelings, so you can begin to quiet those triggers. I like to tell the story of, back in the day when we used to go to garages for parties and things like that. And there would always be this person who would be very upset when someone would step on their shoe. Would lose weight shoes. You stepped on my toe. They make a big old deal about it, get into a fight over it. And so why are they so upset if someone stepped on their shoe? I mean, you brush it off, whatever, might hurt a little bit, but why are you going to get into a fight about it and then ruin your shoes? What's all that about? But really, when we get upset about small things like that, it's not so much that one thing that happened. It's the accumulation of occurrences over the years that causes that trigger. You're no longer fighting about the big toe. You're fighting about all the other stuff.
Exactly.
That you never really dealt with. That's what's causing the anger. And anger and unforgiveness is one of the most toxic emotions that can cause obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's. I mean, all of that stuff, all of that gunk is what keeps you unwell.
So yeah, I know people who have to have the television, and I totally agree with you. I mean, I cherish my sleep. I believe that it's when God really speaks to me, and I get clarity. And but so if I do watch television before I go to bed, so my thing is I watch something funny. I watch Everybody Loves Raymond or something that I know that's familiar to me, that is just calming to me or loving or whatever. I don't watch Ancient Aliens or anything like that, or stuff, really weird stuff, because I really want to be in that realm, and I want to be in that space where I'm really hearing and I'm open and receptive. So that sleep is really, really important, you guys. It's really important. You might have to change your practice, because I hear the millennials they're so overstimulated that first, they don't know how to have relationships. Secondly, they just don't know how to shut down. And so my granddaughters were here recently, and they're not millennials, but I teach my granddaughters, like I give them lavender spray for their pillow, and they have eye pillows, and we do a lot of different things. And I just learned that my 8-year-old granddaughter practices gratitude before she goes to bed. She taught me. I was like, wow. So just amazing.
I'm glad you mentioned that about the millennials and even younger, because I have 4 daughters, and we're very close. And I realize now that I'm in my legacy building phase. So I share with them all the different things that I'm doing. And we talk about these things, and I am so proud of how they have begun to, create their own rituals around their own self-care. Because what we really need to think about, for those of us who are over 40, 50, and 60, the millennials and their kids and friends and everything else, they're still watching you.
Yes.
Because as quiet as it's kept with millennials, and I think they get a bad rap, it's not that they don't want to listen. It's not that they don't want to learn. It's quite the opposite. My children are all in their 30s, so they're on the higher end of the millennials. So, I think the oldest one is 34, and the younger one is 27. But they told me that so many of their friends' parents no longer take the time to try to share with them about certain things because they're thinking they don't want to hear it, they're not listening, whatever. And there's just been this lack of communication over time that becomes a habit. But I want to encourage you that even though you think they're not listening or they don't want to hear it, do it anyway. A lot of my friends ask me, how are you able to still maintain such a close relationship with your kids and they're so much older? My kids probably don't want to talk to me or whatever. And I've learned over the years the importance of listening and not always reacting to everything that they say. First of all, I do that for my own self-survival because I had at one time 4 females and some kind of formation of hormonal stuff and periods and everything going on. So you just cannot react to everything that you hear because you'll be going nuts. You're like, oh my God, I don't think I know more. No, I could not address all the needs at once. And as I began to get older, it was even more important for me just to be there to listen. Because the listening piece and having them talk is probably one of the best forms of self-care ever that you can extend to your children or to a friend. Just in being able to get it off of their chest and not reacting. Because many times, especially with our adult children, when they're wanting to talk with us, they're not necessarily looking for us to solve it. They just need to get it off their chest. And believe me, there are times when I'm sitting on my hands, putting myself on mute, saying, oh my God, I can't believe you said that, you know. But rather than react to it, I do give a lot of things to God and then say, okay, now I know what to pray for. Now I know what kinds of things to focus on the next time I talk to them. But many times, part of self-care for you, in terms of getting all upset and reacting when they do share with things with you or when things are going on in your life that you know are a hot mess and hair on fire crazy, but also self-care for them, is to listen. And let me also say that part of the wonderful piece of wisdom and the wonderful piece of growing older, because there's so many wonderful things about getting older that I absolutely love, is that you get past that hair on fire stage. If you're in your 20s and your 30s and everything seems to be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, that's age appropriate. That's part of your learning process because you haven't experienced a whole lot of life yet. So some things do seem insurmountable. When you get to the 40s, 50s, and 60s, you know you've experienced probably the majority of things that life has to deal with or has to dole out to you. And you have survived them. You've moved past that. So you realize that you can really feed into the idea that this too shall pass. There should never be anything that happens in your life that you can't have a frame of reference saying that, okay, this is really bad right now. I'm upset about it or whatever, but this too shall pass because I'm going to look back at everything else that I've been able to survive. And I'm going to pull in my tool chest somewhere something that I learned from there that's going to aid me on this journey. Because here is the good news about aging, is that first of all, I don't believe that God ever brings you to something that you don't already have in your toolkit that you can pull out to help pull you through that. But you have a frame of reference. You have lived a long life. And so therefore, you have the wisdom. You've got the discernment. You have the strength and hopefully the faith and trust to know that you'll get past that. And you'll learn from it and you'll thrive in spite of it. That is the really best news about getting older, is that you can experience life through a frame of reference where you can still have joy in the midst of circumstances that would have dictated a completely different response when you were in your 20s and 30s.
Absolutely. Well, we are running out of time. We haven't even scratched the surface, so I'm going to have you back.
I would love to come back. Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful.
Absolutely. So please tell people how they can get in touch with you, what you have going on, and so that we can add to your audience and people can learn more about wellness. If they have any questions, if they're going through anything, they can reach out to you.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, I want to invite everybody to join my Facebook group, Wellness Women 40 and Beyond on Facebook. It's a wonderful group of women. I think right now we have just under 1,800 women who have joined us over the last year or so. And we talk about all kinds of wellness issues. And it's a great way to get in touch with me as well because I'm in the group every day. I do a show within the group called Lynnis Minutes. But another way to get in touch with me or to follow me is to go to my site, Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond, and there you have all my social media. I'm on Instagram. I have several pages on Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn and Pinterest and all the other Twitter, all the other YouTube social media. And if you go to my website, you can connect with my blog. You can sign up for my newsletter. I do a magazine that comes out once a quarter, and the magazine is there as well. I have coaching programs about holistic stress and also coaching programs on overall wellness for your mind, body, and spirit, and a weight release program as well that uses the holistic practice of tapping to help you make changes in terms of your lifestyle so that you can release that weight forever. So lots of great things going on. And I do want to share real quickly that I am hosting a trip to Costa Rica on March of 2020. It is the Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond Self-Love, Self-Care Retreat in Costa Rica. So if you go to my website at wellnesswoman40.com, you can find out all about that. I have 10 slots. Actually, now I have 8 slots. And plenty of time to pay for it because it doesn't happen until March of 2020. But we are going to have a fabulous time, 7 days and 6 nights in a 5-star villa with our own personal chef, doing all kinds of self-love, self-care stuff. We're going to be doing yoga, aromatherapy, learning how to raise our vibration, vision boards, hiking, doing some beach combing, shopping.
Oh, I'm going to have to check that out.
All kinds of fun things. I mean, really some fun things. I'm not just saying that. I've been working with the retreat organizer who lives in Costa Rica, and I am so excited about the things that we're going to be doing moving forward in for the rest of this year. So just, join the group and get on my newsletter, and you'll find out all the great things we're going to be doing this year.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for joining us. I'm probably going to invite you to do one of my web series because I have a group called Avow, and it's Authentic Voices of Women, and we're looking for women 42 and over to share their life experiences. Our motto is let your past heal your future. And so we're going to be starting a web series where we just jump out on Facebook Live or on Facebook Watch, and then it'll be uploaded to YouTube and will be uploaded to my site. But really looking for women to share their story. It doesn't matter whether it's tragedy to triumph or you're just in situations right now and you just want to be able to get it out. What I have learned through my life experiences is sharing really is self-care for me. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for empathy. I'm just looking to get it out, all the things that I've held inside, all the life experiences. And through Avow, I have met people globally who have said, that happened to me. That was my experience. Yes. And so I just want people,
That's wonderful. That seems so prophetic, as you were talking about earlier about the Band-Aid thing. I mean, women need support like that. That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
I'd love to be a part of that.
Oh, please, because, contrary to Bravo or reality TV, there are women who love and support other women. And so let me just say this, because I just have to vent just 1 second, then I have to jump out. If you're numbing yourself out by watching The Housewives, by watching women betray one another, beat down, tear down, rip down one another, like they say, throw shade, that's not the norm. And if that is your norm, you need to look for Lynnis. You need to look for Avow. You need to look for women's groups. You need to find some women who will love and support, that you can feel vulnerable, and that you trust them and they trust you. You don't have to be an island to yourself. And I was one of these women. You don't have to be a woman who only has male friends. Because they are females. We are nurturers. We are mothers. We have instinct. We have passion. We have compassion, right? And that's what we are built for. Men are built for protection and hunters and all. We have this innate ability within us to love and to nurture one another. So look out for those women. If you want to go to Lynnis and find her on, wellnesswomen40.com, or you want to go to Avow, AVOW, on Facebook for Authentic Voices of Women. If you want to reach out to me and you just want to talk, you can email me at coach.askzena@gmail.com or find me on all of the social medias at AskZena. You don't need to do this by yourself. So wellness, the point that I want to make, wellness is about you taking action to have a better life. Wow. Thank you so very much for joining me. We're going to jump on out today and, have a wonderful week.
Thank you so much. Have a fantastic week. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.